Well, last weekend I made up that hose. I cut it because it was a little bit big to fit what I needed. But then I got to thinking about it, and that hose is probably 15 years old. So it's probably time for a new hose. So I got new hose, so that's what the project is today, is cut a new hose and put it on, put the fittings on. The fittings are always reusable. That's a good thing. But hoses deteriorate after a while. So today is new hose. So there's the new hose. Now I just got to measure it and cut it. So, well, there I have the hose marked where I'm going to cut it. And now I'm going to get ready to cut it. You always wrap some tape around the hose before you cut it, and then mark it again. And now comes time to cut it. Well, you can always cut this with a hacksaw. You can use a cutoff wheel. You can do all these kind of crazy things. But nowadays, I like to use these. These open up and do a real nice clean cut. So without further ado, we stick it in there, bring it down, make sure it's lined up straight. And there you have it. Real nice clean cut. You got a little squish right there. Just take your hose cutter and just bring it back a little bit. Get the deform out of there. Makes it a lot easier to put it on the nipple of this. Alright, so we'll go over to the other bench and do the other things we got to do. What I have here in the vise is a soft jaw. They have magnets on the back side so that they can stick to your vise, and then these grooves here fit in your fittings so you don't mar them all up. Like I said, they're just magnets, so they stay there real nice. Okay, what we're going to do now is take this and join it to that. So then we can join this all together here, you know. Such as that. Okay, so I'll get ready to put that together. Okay, so make sure everything's clean there. I just took these are reusable, so I just put a new hose. So anyway, you're going to take this here, put it together like that, and sometimes they can be a little tough, sometimes they can't. I'm going to try to do this on camera. That's what screws me up. You can just give it a twist. Yep. Back and forth, kind of. Yep. And then you can see, or not, but the hose came up into the little threaded area there. See if I can get that better. There, I think you can see that. Alright, so now you got that fastened. Now, you're going to stick this in the vise. Put some lube on them threads. Lube on the inside of the hose, you know, on this nipple and everything, and then screw it together. So that's our next thing. Moving over to the bench. Okay, so after we lube this up and lube the inside of that up with some oil, you're going to press it down. Oh, and another thing I did here is I I reused that piece of tape and put it on here because when this is done, you don't want to have a large separation between the tape and this. That lets you know if it's separated or not. So you don't want it to separate. So now, by pushing down and turning, you're trying to get everything together here. And then you can feel it going down. I mean, it's not super hard. It's just, for me, it's awkward because I'm in a funny position for the camera than I would normally be. So, and then, like I already said, this has been reused, and it's for the fuel cell. It's for the return line from the pump to the cell. So it really doesn't superly matter that they're a little bit marred. So just be careful. So anyway, just keep on cranking. Can you see what the distance is there? And get that thing off. We're a little bit, got a gap yet, so we got to keep on bringing it down. Right now I'm stupidly digging into the aluminum jaws. Should come over from the other side. I'm just gonna really mar this up. That wasn't a good one. That wasn't a good one. So now it's starting to do that. Okay, what I'm going to do now is turn it over, put the hose through there. Oh, that marred that up bad. That's what happens when that spins inside of there. Not good. It's just a little easier to put the hose on and twist it rather than having the hose in here and trying to twist the fitting. I don't know. For me, that's just a little bit easier. So that's how I do that. I'm not a professional. I've just been doing it for a few years, you know. I know a little bit about what I'm doing, enough to cause problems. I guess that's what I always say. I know enough to mess things up. A little bit more. See now from this angle, you may or may not be able to see the gap that we have there. If I get the wrench out of there. See the gap we got there? Just need to go a little bit more. Don't drop the camera. There. And this is a nice swivel fitting, so it doesn't matter where this thing ends up. I can move it wherever I need to move it to when I'm all done. Okay, I'm going to call that good because as you can see, I have about a 1/16 of an inch gap there. That's fine. And my tape did not slide down, meaning my hose did not slide down, so that means my hose stayed inside there when we did this. So that's how you do AN fittings, or at least that's how I do AN fittings. These are -8, in case you were wondering. Thank you and goodbye. So there we are, ready to put our hose on. I have the tape marked down there where it's gonna sit, and you can see there's just a small gap between the tape and the thing, and then you can see where the hose is in there right up to the threads. So you put a little lube on there to help the hose go over the nipple. And push and turn. Push and turn. I just lean my body weight into it and just turn the hose. You can hear the stainless steel hose barbs or hoses kind of crunching as the fitting is crushing over that nipple, because like this here's a nipple and there's that fitting, and inside this fitting is your hose, so it's going on over there and it's crushing it down, so you can kind of hear it. And then once again, get your get your wrench. Once again, I'm really not worried about scratching these ones, because where they are, they're not fitted. They're not seen that often, so you know, they're in the back of the car. And this is not a show car, so. And I don't do this like for money. This is me. Like I have a business and I'm got a name to, oh, who did that shit? That looks like shit. No. The whole reason of these AN fittings is to flow and safety. You can't run 12 inches of rubber hose, over 12 inches of rubber hose, excuse me, in the drag racing sanctioned bodies, but you can run braided stainless steel hose, which is just a fancy rubber hose with a stainless steel cover, and that's legal. I'm just trying to snug that up so it mars at the least. And there. I'll call that good. Pull it from the block. We can take a look at it there. We have a nice, about a 1/16 of an inch gap there. And back here, excuse me a little bit, we don't have any gap back here, so this is another good one. And this one here is a swivel as well. I have all my fittings are swivels. That way, like, because they are the cheaper kind where it's stationary, so then you have to watch out for when you make a fitting, because these do have a little bit of a curvature to them. So if you want, let's say you want a fitting where it's going to have to fit like that, well, you don't want to assemble it and have it going like that and one end like this, so then you'd be screwed. So with the swivels, they cost a little bit more money, but you can move them where you want when you're all done, and that's it. All right, thanks again. See you later. And there is our finished return line hose that we just made. Goes from the pump back to the cell. Pretty neat.